Buston Jeeber is a well-known Australian actor. He has recently entered into a legally enforceable contract with Columbia Pictures and is excited to play the lead actor in a surfing movie set in Byron Bay, New South Wales. The contract states that Buston Jeeber cannot terminate this contract without the express consent of Columbia Pictures. However, 4 months into filming, Buston is diagnosed with clinical depression and anxiety. Following advice from his doctor to focus on his mental health, Buston informs Columbia Pictures that he would like to terminate the contract. As Columbia Pictures does not consent to the termination, Buston seeks the advice of Jesse Pearson, a recently admitted commercial lawyer. Buston explains the facts of the case to Jesse and states that he would like to keep his mental illness out of the public eye. Jesse assures Buston that she will not disclose any confidential information discussed throughout the interview, and both parties enter into a retainer. Columbia Pictures commences proceedings against Buston for breach of contract, and both parties agree to enter mediation to settle the dispute. In mediation, Jesse successfully settles the case with Columbia Pictures. Buston's deteriorating mental health is a critical argument used to negotiate a smaller settlement, and he is released from the contract of employment. The matter is settled and Jesse's retainer with Buston concludes. 6 months later, Buston contacts Jesse to thank her for what she has done for him, explaining that he has taken time off work since the dispute and has really focused on his mental health. As a sign of gratitude, Buston takes Jesse out to dinner later that night. Over dinner, Buston says to Jesse, "I'm really pleased with the outcome. I sort of wish we could tell the world so that employers would take mental health more seriously." She responds, "I wish we could too," and takes a photo of their dinner to commemorate their success. The next day, Jesse tells her principal, Rachel Lane, about the conversation she had with Buston over dinner. Rachel advises Jesse to post about the successful mediation on the firm's Instagram account, as it is good publicity for the firm. Jesse is hesitant and says that she doesn't want to risk her practicing certificate for breaching client confidentiality. Rachel explains to Jesse that the retainer with Buston has ended, and even so, Buston has consented for them to tell the world about his case. However, Rachel still recognises Jesse's point and says just not to include his name in the post. Following this conversation, Jesse posts a photo of their dinner on Instagram and captions it, "Celebrating a great outcome in mediation. It was only fair, given our client's condition. #mental health is not a joke." After the post is uploaded, one eagle-eyed commenter identifies Buston by the tattoo of a rose on his arm, which is captured in the picture's background. Media outlets quickly catch on to this discovery. Buston's involvement in a legal matter, as well as the fact that he has a mental health illness, go viral. This unwanted publicity worsens Buston's depression and anxiety. Buston files a complaint to the Office of the Legal Services Commissioner for breach of confidentiality.